Oh, well. Sorry. I think that earlier last year, yeah. Another one that I was really wanting, but I think that one. This one. Oh, well, our- Okay. They're doing it. This one. More business. Thank you. It's the only kind of way. I know, yeah. Are all these the audience members? Oh, no, these are. No, they're not nice. That's from top, yeah. Okay, sound good. Oh, okay. Yeah. Same. Oh, wait. But you've not joined it. Yes.
No, just that we should join all of them. Well, feel like we should concentrate on the field, the time to, yeah, then our. Yeah, no. You will do.
Acabei de demais, então.
Okay, so we must not be here.
Is slide? Slide.
Yes, Michael, you say it's Michael from Marvin.
Michael Omoni. Mike, can I just.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the panel on Kannywood. And in this panel, we will be looking at this continuity of historical legacies in Kannywood. And this is the part one. Immediately after the session, we have the second session coming up. My name is Rukaya Sanjo, and I am the chair of this panel. We have three presenters on the panel. We have Joe Dame from Bayero University. We have Oluwashio Karim and Abijidi myself. And we have Yusuf Shamadan. I have been informed that the two other presenters are trying to join online. We know how networks can get. We have one presenter online, and we should just begin with him to avoid time wasting. So I'll introduce him and his topic. Michael Omoni, are you here? Can you hear me?
Hello, yeah, I can hear you. Good afternoon.
Oh, great. Good afternoon. You are presenting on technology and linguistic confluence, the new Kannywood example. Please, you have 20 minutes to make your presentation, and you can go ahead with it. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, my name is Michael Omoni Abejide. My author's name is Arabulu Oluwashio Karim. We are very honored to present our paper.
You can start, please.
Yes,
just
okay.
to complete the new. So this employ how digital tools are shaping the Hausa language.
I think
Can you please speak up, Michael? Michael.
Yeah. Hello. I can hear you.
Speak up. Thank you.
Okay. I said this paper explains how digital tools are reshaping the Hausa language film industries, popularly known as the Kannywood, and the paper also talk about language and cultural identity. So the paper begins with the role of technology in modern communication, especially within creative sectors like the film industries. So Kannywood provides an insightful example of how digital platforms influence traditional expressions. So in the paper, we argue that technology simultaneously preserves and as well transform Hausa culture and language. Sorry, please, I don't know if you are hearing me.
We can hear you. Thank you.
Okay. Just a brief background of Kannywood. We said Kannywood emerged in the 1990s and is deeply rooted in Hausa cultural tradition. So mostly they are deeply rooted in Islamic Hausa culture traditions. So it grew from local storytelling formats such as Tatsunya. Tatsunya means storytelling, and Waka. Sorry, can you hear me? I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes, but speak louder. You can speak louder, please.
Okay. Waka. I said Tatsunya and Waka. And in Hausa, what you mean by Tatsunya, it means storytelling. And Waka means song or song. Transition from the digital format. It's been transitioned from this normal storytelling to digital format now. So the use used in Kannywood reflects the strategy to appeal and maintain ethical linguistic traditions. So in this our paper, such as the linguistic confluence and the technological mediation, the linguistic which is the blending of in a media space, while the technological mediation consider how media use tension. So really helps to explain how Kannywood navigates linguistic diversity and audience enlargement. So are you with me, please?
Yeah. Michael?
Almost over everything. So digital film would more accessible, new filmmakers, and it also enables we have Hausa and English being mixed together. So that is just the use of digital making. So social media platforms, TikTok is for promotion. And as a result of that, it connects and global audience. It makes it in such a way that this will make a higher production qualities and also have multilingual features such as subtitle. Teams we now see how the subtitles as a case study where we see the Lado. Other one is hello.
Hello, Michael.
Why the Gidam Badamasi?
We can't hear you. We can't hear you. Is it
what
the
about now,
network?
please?
Is it the network? We can't hear you properly. You are breaking off. We are losing you.
Okay.
Please.
She was posting.
Are you coughing? We are losing you.
No, I'm not cutting. No, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Is it like breaking off?
He's actually shifting away from his laptop.
Please.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you very well. Yes, we can.
Wow. I don't know where do you stop? Should I go back or
No, don't proceed, please.
okay. I am at this case study, the two case study we use in our paper. where we use that of the Mati Delado and Gidam Badamasi. Are you there? Are you hearing me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Okay, we said the Mati Delado combines Hausa and Pidgin just to resonate across all regions, just for other people to also understand the Hausa movie. While that of the Gidam Badamasi combines Hausa language, English, and Fulfulde, just to reflect Nigerians' real-life multilingual environment. So these examples really illustrate how linguistic diversity enhance storytelling and riches. So we talk about preservation, how technology preserve the language, and at the same time, it also causes disruption. So technology helps preserve Hausa language through digitalization and popularization, which we all know that. But at the same time, it also disrupts traditional norms by introducing Western principles and hybrid languages. So this tension is central to understand how Kannywood balance authenticity and market demands as well. So the social economical implication, we have the rise of technology allows youth, as we all know, and women, and almost everybody, most people in diaspora, to participate in content creation. We can now see that most people now are now becoming content creations. Everybody wants to be socialized in terms of content creation. So we can see that linguistic confluence promotes cultural exchange and national unity as well as a result of the integration of technology. So at the same time, changing gender roles and lifestyle spark debate about cultural values at the same time. So in conclusion, I would say Kannywood balance preservation and transformation. Technology enable cross-cultural dialogue at the same time, if you look at it very well. So future, hello?
We're here with you.
Okay, so there's a lot of dependence on technology in order to make all these things to work. So technology is a tool for both preservation and transformation if it is being used in the right way. So recommendation, we recommend that script writers should be trained more on how to use this technology to suit the film industries, because almost now everybody is trying to like show himself through this content creation. So as a result of that, we believe if there are more trainers in this film industries, I believe we have more of these stuffs. Then we also recommend that governments should support the film industry so that to have more initiatives. So I think this brings me to the end of my presentation, and I really thank you for listening.
Thank you, Michael, for your presentation. Please stay online for questions and comments and observations on your paper. Thank you.
Okay.
Do we have Joseph Dame online? Okay, for those who are just joining us, we are discussing the continuities of historical legacies in Kannywood. We are looking at about what has changed, what is continuing, and in every aspect of Kannywood, storytelling, in technology, technological advancements, in representation, and all of that. So please prepare your questions and observations. Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
Joseph Dami.
Yes.
He's online.
All right. Joseph Dame, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, and welcome to the panel. I hope you have a good internet connection.
I believe so.
All right. This is Joseph Dame from Bayero University, and he's going to be discussing neo-Kannywood and gender roles and exploration of Prince Daniel's main Maritaba. You have 20 minutes to make your presentation. Okay, please go
Does it have a
ahead.
slide here?
Pardon?
A slide.
Yeah, just the box there.
Okay. Awesome.
Thank you very much. Can I have my slides on, please?
Yeah, coming up. Your slides are coming.
All right, can I go ahead?
Yeah, please. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, thank you. Once again, my name is Joseph Alidame from the Department of Theatre and Performing Arts, Faculty of Communication, Barrow University, Kano. This paper is titled Neo Kannywood and Gender Roles, an exploration of Prince Daniel's My Martaba. Next slide, please, if you can hear me. Next slide, please, if you can hear me.
You have it. You have it. It's on. The next slide is on there. Can you see the screen? Can you see our screen?
Hello?
We are here.
Yes, what I'm seeing is the first slide.
Which one is the first? We have.
Can I have the next slide, please?
Next. Okay.
The next slide has contents as title.
Yes.
All right, can I go on?
Yes. Please go on if you can hear us.
I can hear you. Yeah.
We are waiting for you.
All right. On the second slide, we have the contents. Basically, this paper consists of an introduction. Then we'll look at Kannywood, the idea of the new Kannywood, methodology, theoretical framework, and then we look at the theme itself, my martaba, and then we look at the idea of discontinuities and continuities, in the theme, my martaba. Then we'll look at the female gender angle, the narratorial filmmaking, production aesthetics, casting discontinuities, amongst others, then the conclusion. Next slide, please. Can I go on?
Yes.
As a way of introduction, Kannywood is the predominantly Hausa film production industry with headquarters in Kano. Started sometime in 1990 with the film titled Turming Dinya. So films in Kannywood are always in the Hausa language, but mostly with English subtitles. These films are released and distributed in the very few cinemas in Kano and some parts of the north, and then online, YouTube, cable TV, multi-choice channels, and so on and so forth. Kannywood scholars over time, especially Ibrahim 2019 and Abdullah 2010, have always argued that the problems that bedevil Kannywood are issues of story and plot structures. They said they could be termed too simplistic, ridiculous, and or easily predictable, and that aspects of originality and adaptation are also there. Most times, these films just make a copy of Bollywood films and so on and so forth. And these scholars have also argued that Kannywood is actually not Nollywood because of the thematic concerns which separates the industries, though in the same country. Next slide, please. Methodology. Are you with me? Can I go on?
Yes, please.
Thank you. This study is qualitative in design, and it uses documentary observation and key informant interview. as tools for data collection. Uh, the paper deploys Francois Truffaut's auteur theory or auteurism. Next slide. Now, when we say neo Kannywood, what does it mean? What does it entail? What are we expecting to see? We are expecting to see one, increased use of technology and special effects. Two, more diverse storylines and themes. Three, new generation of actors and filmmakers. And then finally, well, but the list is not exhaustive, but this is the final one we have here. Greater emphasis on production quality and cinematography. So when we notice these four features in the film industry, we see it has become new. It has a renaissance or a rebirth. And this is what we are witnessing in Kannywood, most especially with the production of Prince Daniel's My Martaba. Next slide. Next slide. It's about the Francois Truffaut's theory of auteur, and this approach or this theory is actually in film analysis as deployed in this paper, and it has to do with the criticism that focuses on the ways in which the personal influence, individual sensibility, and artistic vision of a film's director might be identified in their work. So even though this paper is looking just as at one film by Prince Daniel, but a general look at other of his films show a stream of some things that we can identify as his signature. Now, this approach celebrates the film director as an author, an artist whose personality or personal creative vision could be read thematically and stylistically across the body of work. The identification of a particular film style that could be associated with a director and traced from film to film was considered the ultimate authorial signature. And this is what we find in Prince Daniel's My Martaba. Next slide, please. This is Prince Daniel. This is Prince Daniel, a journalist turned filmmaker. Some of his films, some of the titles of his films include Hiding Place, Bring Me Flowers, Kaka, My Martaba, and Hijack. His films have been nominated for and have won many awards. The peak of all the nominations is the 2025 Oscar nomination, where My Martaba is Nigeria's official submission to the 2025 Oscars. Next slide, please. Now let's look at My Martaba. My Martaba is a Hausa word which, when translated into English, means Your Majesty, better still, Your Royal Majesty. It is a 1 hour 26 minutes feature film which was released in the mid 2024. It's an epic that is set in a fictitious Hausa kingdom named or called Jalaba, where the old and dying emir announces that his successor will be none other but his only daughter. Now, this announcement by the dying emir brought up or brings up a lot of strife and resistance from the ruling clans and the heirs apparent. Next slide, please. Can I go on?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So some of the items we mentioned earlier for what we should look out for when we say a film industry has a rebirth, we are now seeing some of them. Like in My Martaba's plot structure, we can see that the plot is neither linear nor episodic. It is a combination of both and more. And you can actually equate it with the 1994 blockbuster of Hollywood, that is Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction. The story has several twists and turns. The plot develops, and as the plot develops, the audience is surprised with the turn of events and revelations. And like Ekwazi 2017 has mentioned, what makes a film or a good story in the film is that element of surprise. So the more the audience is surprised, the more the audience are incited, if you like, to watch the film. So the tons of events are not predictable like we have in the earlier Kannywood films, and flashbacks and backstories explaining actions and inactions of major characters. And the closing scene is actually a revelation of earlier scenes and at the same time material for a sequel. And My Martaba is devoid of the Bollywoodish song and dance, since typical of Kannywood films is the songs and dances which were copied from Bollywood. But in My Martaba, there is none of this. Next slide, please. Yeah, talking about better production quality. In My Martaba, the graphics are very, very believable. The stunts are relatable, not too mechanical as in earlier Hausa language films that are insanely and infamously Bollywoodish. The peak of the graphics is what we have here, and as a picture of the block spot battle scenes, similar to those found in Spartacus and Gladiator. I hope this image is a bit clear. Next
Yes.
slide, please. The costume, the makeup and props shows that the film was set in pre-Western colonial era, and the light and traditional female makeup using kwali, which is a traditional cosmetics of the Hausa people. It is apt and believable. The representation of scars, injuries, age, and social class, the horses and the camels, the central wells, the Arabian architecture, not Western architecture. That shows that Hausa land or Kano, or the fictitious kingdom of Jalaba, which we see, has exposure to Arabian civilization prior to Western civilization. Next slide, please. These are images from the film showing costume and props that were aptly deployed. Now, the female angle. If you recall, the title of our paper is New Kannywood and the Gender Angle. Now, one major contribution of My Martaba to Kannywood is the deployment or portrayal, if you like, of female characters. It is important to note that here we have uh, an emir who is a female, or an emir to be who is a female. Is it possible to have a female emir? Yes, we know about the Queen Aminas of Zaria and so on, but in Kano, it's unheard of. So this is a kind of a discontinuity of the representations that we have had in earlier Kannywood productions, where it has always been a man's world. But we have a director now who is using history and changing the narrative, showing inclusion and possibilities. We can see that the role played by women in the palace, the strength and resolve, focus, and instrumentality of the female characters in the film. And yeah, we can go to the next slide. Still a continuation of the female angle. The major character in this film is a female, Princess Sangaya, the daughter of the dying emir. She's a first-time actress, and she had a lead role in a film with over 500 cast and crew. So this is another contribution of My Martaba to Kannywood. And other production aspects aside the gender angle is that the film My Martaba took 3 years in the making. It took 3 years to produce the film, and it has only one major celebrity actor, Adam A. Zango. The other actors and actresses were greenhorns that were built by the director for this film, and this is one of the things that makes him an auteur, if you like, because that's what he does in most of his films. He hardly uses celebrity actors, but his films are nominated for awards. Just like this one that was nominated for the Oscars, we see that there's just one celebrity actor. And talking about quality of production, the RN camera, which is the highest equipment presently, is what was used for the film. And due to technical gaps in Kannywood, the camera and its handlers had to be shipped from Lagos to Daura in Katsina State, where the film was shot. And it's the most expensive Kannywood film so far. Equipment alone cost about 25 million naira. So Prince Daniel as an author, to summarize all that we have said, he mostly prefers casting unknown actors, giving new actors a chance. He uses high-end equipment. His films take time to produce because he insists on quality, and the English subtitles are apt. Story and plot structures are not easily predictable. There's a finesse in the mise-en-scene. He creates arts from history, culture, and socio-political happenings. Because if you are current with the goings on in Kano, you know that right now there are two emirs sitting in Kano, and in 2024 he's making a film about who becomes the emir, and is the first Kannywood film to be nominated for Oscars. Next slide, please. I think I would conclude now. Prince Daniel has established himself as an emerging Kannywood author with films like Kaka and My Martaba. Being the first Kannywood Oscar nominee, My Martaba proves Ibrahim 2019's position that Kannywood is not Hollywood. And the directorial sign, as seen in Kaka and My Martaba, creates art from available situations, history, and culture. In My Martaba, we see a juxtaposition of Ali Mazuri's concept of the African triple heritage and Plekhanov's art for art's sake debates. My Martaba is therefore culturally, politically, historically, and aesthetically significant. If we have time, the very last slide after this one, it's a 1 minute clip from the film. Thank you very much.
I want to see if I can clean up them.
Hello, am I still on?
Yeah, please, you are.
I think maybe I have completed my presentation. I don't know if it was.
The presentation is still on.
Sorry, I cannot hear you.
Okay, we are playing the clip.
Okay.
Thank you, Joseph Dame, for that insightful and educating presentation. You sure have gained a lot from it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please stay online for comments and observations and questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Please, do we have Shamadana?
Everyone is online, I think.
Okay.
So what's the last thing?
Shamadana and so.
I mean, the one you just said.
Shamadana.
Shamadana. Okay.
Hello, am I being called?
Yes, please hold on. We are trying to locate your slides.
Oh,
But
okay.
it's good to
Okay.
know you are here with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, audience, we have the third presenter in person of Yusuf Shamagana from Kaduna State University, and is going to be presenting on the title, Away from the Poetics of Begging, this continuity in the representation of disability in Hausa films. Shamagana, are you here, Dr. Shamagana?
Yes, I'm here with you.
Okay. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ruka.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. We would like to hear from you now. Make your presentation. You have 20 minutes. We'll take all the time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. My name is Yusuf Shamagana, Department of English and Drama, Kaduna State University, Kaduna, Nigeria. Okay, I have a slight modification of my paper's title from the one that I initially sent as an abstract. So what we have now is Away from the Poetics of Begging, this continuity in the representation of blindness in the Hausa film Awa Kulu. Now, as an introduction, let me begin by noting that in many cultures around the world, persons with disabilities are considered among, let me use Franz Fanon word, the wretched of the earth. Now, this sentiment is often embedded in the gamut or in the body of the people's culture, oral culture that include folk songs, folk tales, creation stories, and so on and so forth. Now, in Hausa culture, this case is not different because there are so many proverbs and folk songs and stories, folk stories, that cast persons with disabilities in negative light. And this culminates in the formulation of negative stereotypes around disability. Now, these perceptions of persons with disabilities at the cultural level usually form the foundational premise upon which many artists, including filmmakers, draw inspiration for their representation of disability and persons with disabilities. Now, the argument is perhaps this is one of the reasons why blind characters have often been associated with begging in many Kannywood films. Of course, this assumption is premised upon the fact that there are, for instance, so many proverbs in Hausa language that cast persons with disabilities, or particularly blind persons, in uncharitable light. Now, the overarching implication of this is that it potentially supports and sustains the culture of exclusion or the exclusion of persons with disabilities in mainstream society, whether it is mainstream economic, political, cultural, or development agenda. However, in Kannywood, in the film Hawakulu, our case study film that is, it appears like there is a slight, or should I say, a remarkable shift from the usual association of blind characters with begging to those who lead responsible and dignifying lives. This is where we argue that this kind of representation is a little bit away from the usual poetics of disability that is popular in the representation, poetics of begging, that is popular in Kannywood's representation of persons with disability, and particularly persons with blindness. Now, this invariably implies that disability is what? This invariably implies that disability is located in the presence. This invariably implies that disability is located in the person with the impairment and not in society. That is the earlier posturing of the representation of persons with disability in the earlier Kannywood films. Now, anchored on framing theory and social model of disability as theoretical framework, this paper interrogates this shift, this deviation of representation of persons with disability using the one with blindness in our case study film, and the larger implication this has, or this shift has, for persons with disabilities and the pursuit of social justice. Now, methodology. The methodology adopted for this particular paper is content analysis. And of course, content analysis is a research method that systematically analyzes the content of qualitative data, such as text, images, audio, and in this case, films. And the essence is to identify patterns, to identify themes, and to infer or draw inferences on the underlying meanings. And then, of course, content analysis can be both quantitative or qualitative in nature. However, in these particular studies, qualitative content analysis is particularly deployed, focusing on interpreting and understanding the context, nuances, and underlying meanings in the representation of our blind protagonist, named Mala Lawandi, in the film Awakulu. Now, theoretically, this study is hinged on social model of disability. Now, social model of disability entails that for us to address the issue of disability, we have to look at the deficiencies or the barriers that are located in the society and address them. That society is the culprit in the pursuit of disability inclusion, that if at the end, if we are able to address underlying or extant barriers in the society, then disability or persons with disabilities can lead a more dignified life. There are other models, the medical model, the charity model, and the rest, which have been debated, but have not been favored by activists in the disability sector. Now, the medical model, for instance, sees disability as a medical problem which needs to be fixed. And it is this thinking that has led many people to continue to look for healing or to go to prayer houses and religious houses in search of healing for persons with disability. While the charity model favors the giving of charity to persons with disabilities as one of the major ways through which the issue or the lives of persons with disabilities can be improved. And then the second theory that will be used here is framing theory. Now, framing theory is a media theory that suggests that the media does not only represent, the media is not an unbiased representative or mirror of reality. The media censors, the media filters, the media disciplines aspects of reality that it wants us or they want us to focus on. Now, this is achieved through frames, and these frames are just abstractions that work to organize or structure meaning in a manner that they will convey images in a perspective or from a perspective that they want us to perceive or with the audience to perceive them. Now, next slide is a form of literature review on begging. Can you hear me, please?
Yes, please.
Okay, on begging and disability in Northern Nigeria. Now, there are a number of studies on the phenomenon of street begging in Northern Nigeria. Some of them include Tukur et al. 2019, Wara 2015, Ogunkan 2011, and Weiss 2003. Now, many of these studies share a common feature of associating begging. Yeah, I cannot hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Yes, you can. Please continue.
All right. Many of these studies share a common feature of associating begging with persons with disability, even though they may start off to focus on a different aspect or different demographic, but at the end of the day, they associate persons with disability with begging. For instance, in their study on the changing socio-economic fortunes of household women from 1960 to 2018, Tukur et al. 2019 notes that Hausa women were known to be active in trade in the pre-colonial time. However, this was affected during colonial period by unfriendly economic policies, culminating to throwing women into state of poverty. Now, to cope with this dire economic situation, many of the women resort to begging. Now, there are so many questions that may be asked. Did these women not have husbands, or what was the reason? Now, the study explained that some of them, when they decided or they sought help from their husbands, okay, to recoup back or to regain their position or to regain their trade back, many of them were discouraged by their husband. That is according to their own research. They now note that women beggars are usually, at the end of their study, they associate women beggars, that women beggars are usually those with such disability as leprosy, deafness, and blindness. Then one will wonder, are these women that are being referred to here that are usually associated with begging, are they part of the people that were active in economic or in trade during those times that this study covered? But then this study was silent in this particular or on this particular matter. Now for Ogunkron 2011, he observes that in northern part of Nigeria, begging seems to have a religio-cultural background. That is, it seems that there is an assumption that Islam, which is the major or dominant religion in this part of the country, supports begging. Okay, now Ogunkan further goes to cite Jalili 2006, who reveals that in northern Nigeria, many people give money to street beggars out of piety, yet others are what are simply put philanthropists. He, however, notes that this flawed assumption that Islam may have been supportive or Islam supports begging may have been partly informed by the misunderstanding of the two Hausa words that have been misunderstood and are being used interchangeably. And these words are what? Mabarata, who are professional beggars, and Al-Majure, who we are, as we are all aware, are itinerant students in search of Islamic knowledge. And then similarly, there is also a misconception or misappropriation, and of course, misapplication of the Islamic injunctions of charity and almsgiving, that is zakat and sadaqah. Now, zakat and sadaqah, according to Ogunkan, have been misappropriated by beggars, many of whom are persons with disabilities, to provide a religious justification for their begging. Now, this may have been part of the reasons why filmmakers in northern Nigeria have also leveraged or have also benefited or draw inspiration to represent disability, to associate or to continue to associate disability with begging. Now, films, no doubt, are among the powerful media of socialization. They have the wherewithal to shape people's perceptions of many issues, including disability and persons with disabilities. Corroborating this assertion, Drelly and Kala observes that it is widely acknowledged that the media plays a crucial role in shaping people's perceptions. Okay? However, it is important to note that the media is not a mere unbiased social mirror, as I've earlier mentioned. It is a reflection of so many agenda and interests. So what we see as the end product in a form of film or news items, as the case may be, is tempered by a lot of interest. For instance, in the realm of cinema, I'm quoting the authors now, various factors can influence how films reflect their social environment, such as the agenda of funding agencies, ideological biases, commercial preferences, among others. Now, cinema contributes to shaping the collective consciousness around topics, many topics, including persons with disability. Now, a number of Hausa films and television dramas suggest that Hausa film industry, popularly known as Kannywood, mainly associate disability, especially blindness, with begging. Now, some examples, there are many examples, and I'm still in the process of harvesting many of them, but let me cite only two here. Dreba Makaho, a film produced in 2020, and a very popular television drama serial called or titled That Nkoa. Now, That Nkoa has a very popular character called Kabiru Makaho. Now, when you follow Kabiru Makaho appeared, it is very, very instructive. Kabiru Makaho is a very vibrant character in that particular drama serial. Now, Kabiru Makaho appears in many of the episodes. And when you follow it, when you follow his life, when you follow his story, you will see a perfect representation of what we call here poetics of begging. Now, these representations have the potential of reinforcing the exclusion of blind people in mainstream economic spaces as people incapable of engaging in profitable ventures. It is this misrepresentation that perhaps Hawakulu jettisons. Now, let's go to Hawakulu. Hawakulu is a film produced by Mashada Global Resources Limited and directed by Kannywood director Alinuhu in 2022. Now, the film recounts the story of Lawandi, a blind businessman in a local fictional Hausa community who has one wife and a daughter named Hawakulu. Now, contrary to what is obtainable in most local communities like theirs, where many girls are married off in a relatively younger age, often not having the opportunity to further their education to the tertiary level, Lawandi vows that his daughter's case will be what? Will be different. Unfortunately, tragedy strikes when Megari, that is the local traditional or the traditional leader of their community, ambushes and rapes the young girl Hawakulu at night.
Yes.
Now, Lawandi attempts to get justice, but his brother... Hello? Can you hear me?
We're with you.
Lawandi, after this incident, Lawandi attempts to get justice, but his brother, his younger brother, same father, same mother, who catches Megari in the act, denies knowledge of the case when he is eventually summoned to testify before Megari in Megari's court, after being bribed by the Megari himself. Now, Hawakulu, as a result of that incident, gets infected by VVF, and then Hawakulu is taken to the clinic and is confirmed to have VVF, which would require that she be taken to a bigger hospital in the city. On hearing this, Lawandi becomes heartbroken by the news, and then he slumps and dies instantly. However, Hawakulu's mother later, when they take the daughter to the hospital in the city, they were abandoned by everybody at some point. They were not even having money to feed. So she used to go out to go and beg in order for them to survive. So in one of those begging outings, she was knocked down by a car and she also dies. At the end of the film, however, Hawakulu, through the help of a good Samaritan nurse, gets an education, becomes a judge. Now, at the closing of the film, Megari, on the other hand, is reported by Kalamu himself, who traces Hawakulu and seeks for her forgiveness. He reports to Hawakulu that Megari has been dethroned because he continued with this rape attitude, and then he was apprehended and he was dealt with, dethroned, and he subsequently died like a dog. Now, that is the summary of the film. Now, the next thing we look at is the framing of blindness in Hawakulu. Contrary to many other films that associate blindness or disability in general and blindness in particular to begging, Lawandi is represented as a self-reliant businessman, responsible father and husband. He is not dependent on anyone for his livelihood. Instead, he not only adequately provides for his family, but also his only brother, Kalamu. Now, this Kalamu is the same person that ends up betraying him. Again, beyond just being self-reliant, Lawandi is also cast as a progressive character, as depicted in his insistence that his daughter must pursue her education to the tertiary level, even though that is not the usual norm in their community. He insists that marriage for Hawakulu can come after she has acquired her education. And then again, we should note that the injustice suffered by Lawandi in the hands of Megari is framed more as a case of the rich and powerful versus the weak who happens to have a disability, which can happen to any other person. Now, this representation is important because it integrates disability story within the larger story of injustice at their community level. Now, like other people, persons with disabilities are not insulated from human frailties. Every human being has weaknesses, and Lawandi's weakness is perhaps depicted in his uncritical love and trust for his brother, Kalamu. He can give his last dime to his brother just to see him happy. Now, this brother of his later betrays him. Now, although this can be perceived as unfair to Lawandi, it is the opinion of this writer, this researcher, that this representation contributes in further humanizing the character of Lawandi. At the end of the day, even though he is not alive to witness Hawakulu is able to get Hawakulu is able to get an education and become someone Lawandi would have been proud to call his daughter. This is a remarkable victory for Lawandi. Now, Lawandi's relative economic stability, which earns him a decent life, in my opinion, is a manifestation of social model of disability, which posits that when all barriers in the society, and particularly economic barriers, are addressed, persons with disabilities will lead a better and more dignified lives. However, the questions that still linger is, have these economic barriers been adequately addressed? We just see in the film Lawandi claiming that he is a businessman, but there is no any tangible reflection of how he engages in his businesses, whether the disability is not a barrier in the process of his business. We just see him claiming that he is what? He is a businessman. And we see it again in the way he runs things in his own house. Now, this is a remarkable success, even notwithstanding these questions that may still linger in the film. Now, at the end of the day, the film, we can say in conclusion, films generally play a crucial role in shaping people's perception of disability and persons with disabilities in general. Now, although they primarily draw from the happenings in their society, particularly the culture of the people, studies also show that films have the power to address or correct vices extant in the society. This implies that while they can be used to reinforce a stereotypical representation of disability, as it is in the case with many Hausa films that associate blindness with begging, they can as well be deployed to forge an alternative pathway for a more empowering representations of persons with disabilities, as we have seen in the case study film Hawakulu. This is one of the many ways through which popular culture can be disciplined in pursuit of social justice for persons with disabilities in northern Nigeria, and by extension, Nigeria at large. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Shamagana. Please hang in there for questions and observations. Thank you all for listening. The panel is titled Continuities of Historical Legacies in Kannywood. We have listened to the three presenters, and I'm sure they are online to take your questions and recommendations. Please, are there questions? Okay, Dr. McCain. Any other person? Okay. We will take those two. Then we will take another round of questions. So please, do we have all three people online? Please check.
Yes, please, we are online.
All right, great. So please listen up. Professor McCain has questions and probably comments and observations. Thank you. Please go on.
Okay, thank you. I really enjoyed this presentation, and it was good to hear about some more films I need to watch. So thank you so much for those. And I really enjoyed the argumentation. I had just one quick comment on the presentations. And generally at LSA, it's so much nicer when there are photos in the presentations. When the screen is filled with text, nobody has, if they're reading it, they're not listening to you. So I would encourage everyone with presentations at LSA to just have central images on the slide, and then we can look at it and be happy while we listen to you. So that's what I tell my students. And I think just generally it would make the presentations nicer, especially if you're writing on film. It seems like having images and film clips is crucial. So thank you to Joseph for having a few, like the slides with the images were just really popping. I think the whole audience started paying more attention with those. And I really enjoyed getting to see the trailer afterwards too. So my main question is for Joseph Dami. And it was interesting, you said that Martaba was the first Kannywood film that had been submitted for the nominated for the Nigeria's nomination for the Oscar. And so these questions of Kannywood, Nollywood are maybe a little bit old, but I was wondering how do we then define Nollywood if there was only one Kannywood star in the film? I'd like to hear a little bit more how you're defining Kannywood, because of course there was the Milkmaid that was nominated a year or two earlier, but certainly did not have a Kannywood director, but did have a few recognizable Kannywood actors, including Mariam Booth. So I'm just interested in how are you defining this as the first Kannywood? How does it make the cut of being Kannywood? And I've been out of Kannywood for a while, so I'm just interested in hearing how is Prince Daniel kind of in the Kannywood film industry? Is he recognized by the other filmmakers as being kind of a part of the overall industry? I'd be interested in hearing that. Thank you.
Did you get that? Hello, did you get that? Is he on?
Who is the question directed?
Joseph Damian.
Please.
Is it there? It's not.
Please.
Okay. Are you there, Joseph Dame? Can you hear us? All right. We'll move to the second question, please.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Chair. My question is directed to Joseph Ali Dame. This new debate about new Kannywood, I want to know whether it is predicated on the debate in Nollywood, old and new Nollywood. Because look, there has been this quote and unquote rivalry between Nollywood and Kannywood when it comes to academics discussing like this. Professor Cameron McKay, who just spoke, is an authority on Kannywood. And I wouldn't know whether you actually conducted some of our earlier works. So, because by the time this gets out, we're talking about maybe the continuation of the debates. New Nollywood, which some of us are saying, does it even exist? And then your new Nollywood, where are you taking it from? I hope he's getting me. Okay. And I like the analysis of the film that you looked into. I don't know whether the result of the Oscar nomination has come out. But for it to be the first Kannywood film to be nominated for the Oscars, I think that is highly commendable.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's not online again.
The two questions are for him, and he's not online. Hopefully, he will join us again. All right. Do we still have questions for anyone? Do we have comments? Do we have contributions? Okay.
I guess I should ask another question. Okay. For Yusuf Insim Shamagana.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed your paper on can you hear me? Am I speaking loud enough?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, great. I really enjoyed your analysis of Hawakulu, so I'll look for it. There was another film by Ali Muhu Maria that had a similar kind of storyline, but the blindness was new. And I also like that you mentioned the representation of blindness in Dat and Koa. I was wondering if there are any other Kannywood films that you've looked at where blindness is kind of a central thing. How I know you said kind of previous Kannywood representations just shows blindness as biking. Is that what you've seen in all other Kannywood films except for this one? Are there any others that you find them?
Not all Kannywood films. Not all Kannywood films, but I am looking at some of the Kannywood films that have persons with disabilities and particularly blind people as characters. So most of these films have come in contact with, and then it is actually, as I've mentioned earlier, a work in progress. I am still in the process of harvesting many or more of these films, establish the extent to which these films have this stereotypical representation. However, the few that I have come across actually, in one way or the other, cast disability or characters with disabilities, particularly characters with blind characters with begging. So that's what I have observed. And Hawakulu happens to be one film, major film that I have come in contact with that seems to have a different conceptualization and representation of blind characters. And this is Lawandi. So the argument is that if we pursue this line, it is one of the ways through which film, and in this case, Hausa film, can be used as a viable tool that can foster more empowering representation of persons with disability in the Hausa society in general. So I am still processing.
Could I quickly ask who the writer for the film was?
Yeah. Yes, I'm hearing. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, as if you are talking.
Yes. Please listen up.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just
I'm
want to ask who the writer was for the film.
The writer for the film.
The writer for the film?
Yes.
Okay. This particular film, Hawakulu?
Yes.
Okay. It's written by Fauzia D. Suleiman, the script.
Okay, great.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Shamagana. Please. You can stay online. There are still more questions coming.
Okay, I'm with you.
It's just okay. All right. If you have a question, my name is mine is not a question. It's talking about persons with disabilities. And he changed the word that blind people. In special education, we don't regard them as persons. We call them people visual impairments. But when we use the word blind, it's education. So I don't know if did you get that?
I didn't get that, please.
All right, good evening. My name is yes, but I just said when we in special education, when we talk about people with disabilities, there are terms we don't use for them, terms like blind, deaf. So instead of the word blind, I think we can make use of the word visual impairment or persons with visual impairment. I don't know if that can be corrected.
No, I think I have an objection to that.
Okay.
You see, the idea of language use in the disability balance is an ongoing debate. For instance, in Nigeria, we have NAP as the National Association of the Blind. And then we have NAT as National Association of the Deaf. Now, these are national associations by people with those categories of disabilities themselves. So they are the ones that have endorsed being referred to as blind or deaf. However, when you talk about visual impairment, we have levels of visual impairment. We have people that are partially visually and then we have people we have people that are completely blind. So I think this debate is there, but then I am using a term that is recognized by the body itself, the body that is recognized in this country, National Association of the Blind and the National Association of the Deaf. Thank you.
Yeah, so can you say something? Yeah, please. Okay, so I think also it's also a matter of regional usage. So when I was doing research on disability, I discovered that, hello, please, hello, please, can we all be together? Thank you. That in some places, you can refer to them as people living with disability. In some other regions, you refer to them as disabled people. And so if you say in Nigeria, they're referred to as blind, that's not sure blind people and deaf people, then it's correct. All right. Thank you for that clarification, Dr. Shamagana. I think it's Joseph Dameba. Please.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so Joseph Dame, you have 2 or 3 questions there about waiting for you. I think Professor McCain and Professor Beppo may have to repeat their questions. Please stay with us.
So let me see if I remember. Okay, so I really enjoyed your paper. I appreciated the use of images and the trailer. And I really enjoyed the paper. I did have a question. You mentioned that Main Martaba was the first Kannywood film to get Nigeria's nomination for the Oscar. And so I was interested in hearing about. You said that there was only one recognizable Kannywood actor in the film, Adam Zango. And so I was wondering how integrated Prince Daniel is into the Kannywood industry. Whether it sounds like Kannywood is claiming it as their film. So I was just interested in that kind of the naming there, because of course there was The Milkmaid 2 years earlier that was a Hausa film that had Mariam Booth and a few other recognizable Kannywood actors in it. So I was just wondering your take on kind of the branding of this one as the first Kannywood film. I know the director of that one didn't have anything to do with Kannywood and didn't know much about Kannywood. But I'd be interested in hearing more about that. And then
Professor Beko, Joseph is back online, so you may want to repeat your question.
Answer my question.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Did get it earlier. Okay, Joseph Dame, good attempt. My question is, can you hear me now?
He's no longer here.
He's here.
He's running away from my question.
How possible? Okay, he's back.
I think she said something.
He's back.
Please, if you are with us, let us know. Say hello to us. I think it's my connection issue.
It's just afraid of the question. Hello, Joseph. Okay,
I think it's the audio. He complained about the audio to me just now. Yeah, he said he's backing but no audio. I guess it may be from there.
Why should he be a guest? Should be a co-host.
I made him a panelist.
A panelist. He went out.
Rejected.
He rejected. Hello, Joseph. Joseph, are you back?
I doubt it's back.
It's not back.
So I guess, yeah, I think the questions can be, I think what I heard him say was that the only nomination for 2025 Oscar. I think that is what he said.
The only
Nomination, yeah, for 2025 Oscar awards.
Oscar.
Yeah, 2025, this year, not the previous year, not before, but for this year. Okay. I think that is what I heard him say. I don't know if that answers your question. I heard first. Huh? I heard first. Oh, first? Yes. Oh,
I mean, they didn't claim Milkmaid. That's not, they don't consider it a Kannywood film. But I was interested in whether Prince Daniel is incorporated more, even though he's not in the final content.
Okay, thank you everyone for attending this panel. Right? Thank you. You don't have any question. Okay. We have another panel. We are going into another panel on the same title at 5:30. And there'll be two panelists. The third person is not around, so there will be two panelists. If you have the time, please do join us. Thank you, and we hope to see you. Thank you, Prof. Thanks, Prof.
I wish I could stay, but I have my own.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes.